Common Orion once opened up during a deeply personal interview, admitting that he had spent years trapped inside the same emotional cycles. He revealed he had drifted through relationships without truly understanding why every chapter ended in the same heartbreak. "I kept repeating the same patterns," he confessed. "Therapy helped me finally recognize my own behaviors and understand why everything felt the same over and over again." Heavy words, deep introspection. But coming from a man whose relationships fizzled out quicker than newly released streaming shows, many were prepared to take him at face value. Even so, for a fleeting moment, it looked like Common had genuinely turned a corner. When he went public with his relationship with Jennifer Hudson, they practically glowed. They walked red carpets like they belonged to each other, shared picture-perfect selfies, and spoke with such warmth that fans couldn't help but root for them. They looked like the rare Hollywood love story that didn't crumble under the spotlight. Jennifer spoke about partnership with a quiet certainty, as though she had finally found balance after years of chaos. For her, Common seemed like peace. But the internet, sharp-eyed and merciless as ever, began noticing subtle shifts. Their posts changed. Fewer couple photos, fewer affectionate mentions. Interviews where Jennifer once spoke with bright laughter now carried an uncomfortable stiffness. Her smile looked practiced. Her eyes dimmed whenever Common's name surfaced. Meanwhile, Common started attending industry gatherings alone, a sharp shift from their early inseparable days. His demeanor seemed lighter, almost carefree, as if he was slowly stepping away before anyone noticed. Behind the glamorous photos and polished smiles, the whispers grew louder. Insiders claimed tension had begun bubbling behind closed-doors arguments, emotional flare-ups, and rumors that Common had been spotted getting a bit too friendly with women who definitely were in Jennifer. Nothing proven, nothing solid. But smoke rarely rises without fire. And those tiny cracks soon deepened into fault lines. Still, no one saw the storm coming, the unraveling that would turn a quiet breakup into a public explosion. Because when a man like Common's, someone who chases love at full speed and runs from it, even faster feels cornered or denied. That intoxicating love high he depends on can easily twist into something much darker. Even Common once admitted, when things got difficult, "I checked out. I told myself relationships interfered with my career, that love distracted me from becoming my best self. Those were my excuses." Those excuses, those escape routes, were exactly what insiders say resurfaced with Jennifer Hudson. Now, we reach the tipping point. The reason some claim Common Orion can't stand Jennifer Hudson anymore. The avalanche began when Common didn't just hint at marriage, he staged the classic romantic gesture. A ring, a proposal, a future. And Jennifer said no. Before anyone judges her response, her hesitation needs to be understood. Jennifer Hale is brilliant, grounded, and far from naive. She knew Common's reputation. She'd watched his relationships unfold like everyone else had, intense beginnings that collapsed quietly months later. No matter how much Common talked about healing, Jennifer couldn't shake the fear that she'd become another entry in his long list of repeated patterns. Insiders claim she told him honestly that she wasn't ready. That his past made it impossible for her to take a promise of forever at face value. Imagine loving someone deeply while constantly questioning whether you're just another temporary chapter in their story. That isn't romance. That's emotional torture. But Jennifer had another reason, one scarred into her history. Her past engagement to David Otunga had shattered her. Nearly 10 years of love ended in legal filings, restraining orders, and heartbreak. Reports once read, Jennifer Hudson Hale ends decade-long engagement and files for protective measures. 10 years of devotion, and it all collapsed into chaos. So when Common suggested binding their lives legally, Jennifer Hudson froze. Marriage, to her, wasn't comfort. It was risk. A reminder of pain she never wanted to relive. She told her inner circle, "I can't go through that again." She had rebuilt her life. Her career was soaring. Her independence was sacred. Her stability hard-earned. No matter how deeply she cared for Common, the idea of tying herself to someone again emotionally and legally terrified her. A close friend said Jennifer Hudson told him, "I don't want to end up back at square one." And truly, who could blame her? Common tried to reassure her, tried to promise he'd changed, tried to convince her therapy had transformed him. But Jennifer Hudson wasn't convinced. She had heard "I'll never hurt you" before from a man who eventually did. Her rejection wasn't cruelty. It was heartbreak mixed with self-preservation. But men like Commandant take rejection lightly. He was used to being the one who walked away, never the one left behind. So when a woman he deeply admired said no, the rejection wasn't just emotionally bruised his pride. He later admitted, "My ego took a hit. I'm still working on that." And that bruised ego started poisoning whatever was left between them. Because for someone battling abandonment issues, rejection feels like betrayal. But that no wasn't the end. It was only the opening act. Because soon after, the rumors started on what the world began whispering would turn heartbreak into disaster. After Jennifer Hudson turned down Common's proposal, what could have been a quiet, private heartbreak twisted into something far more volatile. Common tried to appear unbothered, putting on a calm front in public. He smiled for cameras, spoke in his poetic, philosophical tone, and insisted everything between them was steady. But insiders said the rejection rattled him to the core. His confidence had cracked. His pride had taken a hit. And his emotions had tangled into something messy and unfamiliar. Common had always imagined himself as the one steering the relationship, the one with control. But Jennifer Hudson's no flipped his world upside down, and just as he was trying to process the bruising blow in silence, the universe seemed determined to stir up a storm. Because that's when the whispers began. Quiet at first, then louder, then deafening. One name kept echoing across entertainment circles: Lyric Wilde the Bold. Fiery singer whose interviews were infamous for their explosions, her fearless attitude, and her brutal honesty. She was the kind of woman who didn't just spill tea, she poured boiling water on the entire table. No celebrity wanted to become her target, yet somehow Common Orion did. During a viral interview, Lyric unloaded a series of jaw-dropping accusations about him. She portrayed Common as someone entirely different from the smooth, introspective, emotionally intelligent persona he displayed to the world. She hinted at dark patterns, unresolved issues, and behaviors that contradicted everything he showcased publicly. None of her claims were backed by proof. None were verified. But the internet didn't care. The moment Lyric said his name, social media detonated. Headlines lit up everywhere. Lyric Wilde exposes COM Moan Orion. Is CIOM Moan living a double life? Industry source spills on Common S past. People dissected every line Lyric uttered. Podcasts analyzed her voice inflections. Reaction channels broke down her statements frame by frame. And caught in the middle and willingly. Unfairly was Jennifer Hudson hail. Lyric never mentioned Jennifer Hudson directly. But fans began connecting dots that weren't even on the same page. They whispered, was this why Jennifer Hudson said no? Did she already know these things? Was she protecting herself from Common secrets? Suddenly, Jennifer. Secrets? Suddenly, Jennifer. Hudson's name was trending everywhere. Not for her accomplishments, not for her music, not for her humanitarian work, but because of Common's unraveling public drama. Her management scrambled to handle the fallout, but the internet outran them. Behind the scenes, Jennifer Hudson wasn't sad. She was furious. A source close to her revealed that she was completely done with being entangled in Common S emotional storms. Jennifer Hudson had spent her entire life rebuilding herself from trauma, loss, and heartbreak. She'd survived unimaginable pain and transformed it into global success. She had crafted a brand rooted in strength, grace, and rebirth. She refused to let Common's chaos drag her back into darkness. A friend said Jennifer Hudson snapped during a private call, saying, "I've worked too hard to let my name get wrapped up in someone else's drama." From that moment, she began stepping back, carefully, quietly, completely. Her replies shortened. Her energy shifted. Her presence in Common's world faded like a dimming light. And Common noticed. He felt the withdrawal like a door slowly closing. He panicked. He called more. He showed up unexpectedly. He tried reasoning, reflecting, begging for emotional connection. But his words no longer reached her. Jennifer Hudson had mentally stepped out. Their conversations turned into arguments about trust, image, and the suffocating pressure of public attention. What once felt warm now felt heavy, exhausting. And then came another hit one that fractured their last fragile thread. This time, the rumors weren't about Common. They were about Jennifer Hudson. Certain blogs began whispering that Jennifer Hudson was dealing with a deeply personal situation. A few took it further, hinting recklessly that she might be expecting. Then the gossip turned cruel, implying that if she was pregnant, the child might not be Common S. No evidence, no facts, just vicious speculation. But Common didn't handle it well. For a man battling insecurities and emotional wounds, those headlines struck like a blade. Insiders said Common confronted Jennifer Hudson, not gently, not calmly, but with confusion, hurt, and anger tangled together. Voices rose, accusations flared, old frustrations erupted. Jennifer Hudson denied everything. She told him the rumors were lies. She insisted the blogs were fabricating drama for clicks. But when trust is already cracked, truth becomes irrelevant. Common retreated emotionally. His energy dimmed. His performances felt heavy. His public appearances lost the spark that once defined him. In a podcast around that time, he said quietly, "Sometimes we stay in love because we fear being alone, not because love is right for us." To casual listeners, it sounded poetic. But those who understood the situation heard the hidden message, a goodbye whispered through philosophy. Meanwhile, Jennifer Hudson fell into complete silence. For someone as expressive and charismatic as her, that silence spoke volumes. She refused to speak Common's name on talk shows, refused to acknowledge any rumors, refused to feed the flames. Her silence became her shield. Paparazzi photos told their own story. Jennifer Hudson leaving the studio looking drained, Common appearing at events with unfamiliar faces. Both moving forward, but both still carrying unspoken pain. The internet tore into them, choosing sides, attacking, defending, blaming. But none of them knew the truth. None of them understood the emotional scars beneath the surface. But Jennifer Hudson. She was hiding something bigger, something personal, something the world hadn't uncovered yet. And this buried truth, this unseen factor, was about to twist the entire narrative once again. Because what began as heartbreak was now spiraling into full-scale chaos, and the story was nowhere near over. As the situation deepened, anyone watching closely could see that whatever threads still connected. Jennifer Hudson and Common was dangerously close to snapping. Their once enchanting, seemingly unbreakable bond had deteriorated into a battlefield of unspoken resentment, emotional exhaustion, and rising tension. Online, the drama only intensified. Commentary channels, bloggers, gossip pages, everyone dissected every quote, every glance, every blurry photo. The internet devoured the chaos, amplifying it, twisting it, feeding on it. But behind the screen, the truth was far more complex. Jennifer Hudson, despite carrying heartbreak, remained dedicated to healing. She refused to be dragged through public mud. Whenever conflict arose, she chose calm. She avoided escalating arguments. She prioritized her peace, even when it cost her emotionally. Her focus shifted inward towards her music, her foundation, her talk show, and more than anything, her role as a mother. Her social media began reflecting this transformation. Photos of late-night studio sessions, clips of her humanitarian projects, inspirational notes about emotional growth, self-worth, and rebuilding. Fans recognized it instantly. Jennifer Hudson was reclaiming her power. Meanwhile, Common Orion seemed to be unraveling. Friends whispered about nights he spent wrestling with his thoughts, humiliation, heartbreak, and the sting of feeling rejected publicly. The hit to his pride was obvious, even if he tried to mask it. It wasn't just Jennifer Hudson's refusal that hurt him. It was the vulnerability he'd allowed himself to feel, the vulnerability that now felt exposed. And then there were the interviews. Those sly, subtly emotional moments where Common spoke about heartbreak, healing, and the illusions of love. Sometimes, Common mused in one interview, we cling to what feels familiar, convincing ourselves it's love. But often, it's just fear. Fear of change, fear of solitude, fear of facing who we really are. To most listeners, it was just poetic commentary. But to those who followed the Jennifer Hudson Common storyline, every word echoed with subtext, hurt, bitterness, regret. Insiders soon revealed something deeper. Common had always struggled with Jennifer Hudson's independence. Jennifer Hudson wasn't simply famous. She was a global force, admired, respected, financially secure, emotionally grounded. She didn't rely on Common for validation or identity. And that reportedly challenged him in ways he wasn't equipped to handle. He admired strong women, but only when he remained the center of attention. He loved women with power, but only when he was the guide, not the equal. He craved admiration, not challenge. Jennifer Hudson shattered every insecurity he tried to bury. She matched him, talent for talent, intellect for intellect, emotion for emotion. She wasn't impressed by charm. She wasn't swayed by sweet words. She stood firm in her boundaries. And that balance, that equality, triggered fears Common didn't know how to confront. Meanwhile, paparazzi began capturing Common with new faces, models, influencers, artists. Whether innocent or not, these appearances fueled speculation. He's moving on too fast. He's using rebounds as distraction. He never cared in the first place. This is classic Common behavior. While the internet tore him apart, Jennifer Hudson's glow only intensified. She wasn't celebrating. She was healing. Friends said she had entered what they called an emotional awakening, a space where she finally understood her worth, her boundaries, and the kind of love she deserved. No more chasing closure. No more explaining herself. No more shrinking to make someone else comfortable. Closure came from choosing peace. And she chose it every day. Even when blogs spread cruel stories, rumors, she privately denied. Jennifer Hudson refused to react. She chose dignity over defending herself against nonsense. Some said her silence was icy. Others called it wise. But Jennifer Hudson didn't care. Her boundaries had become immovable. During this period, delicate whispers about Jennifer Hudson's personal life floated around tabloids, hints about something private, something significant, something that could shift everything. Claims were wild and cruel, spun from nothing. Some said she was expecting. Some said she was hiding a secret. Some said she was dealing with a health issue. Jennifer Hudson didn't confirm. She didn't deny. She simply stayed silent. And that silence drove Common into emotional chaos. Insiders claimed he confronted her again, not calmly, but desperately, seeking reassurance, clarity, answers. Jennifer Hudson, already exhausted, refused to engage. She was tired of constant explanations, tired of defending herself against gossip, tired of being interrogated for rumors she didn't create. Their conversation reportedly exploded. Voices rising, frustrations spilling, old wounds reopening. Jennifer Hudson insisted the rumors were lies. Common insisted he deserved the truth. And in that moment, everything between them snapped. While Jennifer Hudson pushed forward, Common's public image crumpled. Cameras caught him looking depleted. His interviews lacked their usual charm. His voice carried a weight. His posture drooped with exhaustion. In one podcast, he admitted quietly, "Sometimes people drift apart even when they love deeply. And sometimes the hardest part isn't letting go. It's accepting that the timing wasn't right." Listeners heard poetry. Insiders heard regret. As this emotional storm unfolded, both found themselves at pivotal crossroads. Jennifer Hudson stepped boldly into a new era, one defined by self-love, clarity, and emotional growth. She stopped carrying guilt for wanting peace, stopped apologizing for her boundaries, stopped dimming her light to fit someone else's comfort zone. Common, On the other hand, faced truths he'd run from for years. Truths he could no longer ignore. He had two options: confront his ego or repeat the same destructive cycle again. Whether he chose the right path remained uncertain. But one thing was clear: the Jennifer Hudson Common saga wasn't finished. Because something unexpected, something neither of them saw coming, was about to pull both of their names right back into the spotlight. And the story was only getting more explosive. The story of Jennifer Hudson Hale and Common Orion wasn't just another Hollywood breakup, had become an emotional collision, slow-burning disaster that finally ignited into full-scale chaos. By this point, fans, blogs, gossip commentators, and even mainstream talk shows were obsessing over every scrap of information they could find. But what the public saw was only the surface. Behind closed doors, the truth was far more layered than the internet ever realized. Jennifer Hudson, bruised and exhausted, remained focused on protecting her peace. Even when the noise grew deafening, she refused to jump into the chaos. There were no cryptic subtweets, no reactive interviews, no dramatic statements. She chose silence, strategic, powerful silence. Her friends described her as moving with maturity and discipline, prioritizing her son, her career, and her mental well-being above everything else. She wouldn't let anyone drag her back into emotional warfare. Her social media reflected her quiet evolution, uplifting quotes about self-worth. Behind-the-scenes footage from her studio, glimpses into her advocacy missions, and snapshots of a woman choosing strength over scandal. Jennifer Hudson wasn't escaping the storm, she was stepping above it. Meanwhile, Common was fighting an internal battle he didn't know how to win. People close to him whispered that he was drowning in a whirlwind of emotions: humiliation, guilt, heartbreak, and the sting of losing control of the narrative. Common had always believed he was the master of his story, but suddenly the world was filling in the blanks for him, and he hated it. To the outside world, Common tried to maintain his usual mesmerizing persona. He spoke in metaphors. He waxed poetic about love, growth, clarity. He answered interview questions with philosophical riddles. But anyone paying attention could sense something was off. His eyes lacked the fire they once carried. His posture didn't hold the same confidence. His voice carried hidden exhaustion. In one interview that later went viral, Common said, "Sometimes what we cling to isn't love, it's comfort. Fear, or the idea of love we've convinced ourselves is real. Growth means letting go of what no longer aligns with your soul." Beautiful words. But insiders recognized the truth beneath them. He was talking about Jennifer Hudson. Despite his poetic speeches, Common's actions painted a different picture. Friends revealed that he struggled deeply with Jennifer Hudson independence. She wasn't just successful, she was unstoppable. She didn't need him to validate her existence, to guide her path, or to complete her story. And that terrified him. Because while Common admired strong women, he was used to being the emotional center of the relationship, the mentor, the superior intellect. He wasn't accustomed to being matched or challenged emotionally. But Jennifer Hudson matched him in every category: talent, ambition, influence, emotional strength, power, presence. She didn't orbit him. She walked beside him. And that disrupted the delicate balance Common unconsciously depended on. Then came the paparazzi photos, new faces at Common's side. New company, new distractions. Were they friends? Were they rebounds? Were they coping mechanisms? No one knew. But the internet drew its own conclusions. He's running from himself again. He can't handle independent women. He's spiraling. He moved on too quickly. This is classic Common Orion. The narratives exploded across timelines. Meanwhile, Jennifer kept rising. Not flaunting, not flexing, but glowing. Her energy shifted. Her confidence sharpened. Her aura became electric. She felt lighter, freer, stronger. A friend described it perfectly. This is the Jennifer who finally knows her worth. Instead of fighting rumors, Jennifer embraced her silence. Some interpreted her quiet as coldness, but Jennifer knew it was protection. She was saving what remained of her peace. Then came deeper tabloids' whispers about Jennifer's private life. Hints of something personal, something delicate, something potentially life-changing. Some blogs said she was expecting. Some said she was dealing with health issues. Some said she was carrying a secret only she knew. Jennifer didn't engage, not once. Her refusal to confirm or deny anything was her shield. But that shield cut Common deeply. Insiders said Common confronted her again, this time desperate for clarity. He wanted reassurance. He wanted answers. He wanted closure. But Jennifer was done being interrogated over rumors she didn't create. The tension snapped. Voices were raised. Old wounds flared. Months of frustration spilled out all at once. Jennifer insisted the blogs were lying. Common insisted he deserved the truth. Neither backed down. And in that moment, the final thread holding them together broke. As Jennifer pressed forward, Common's public image dimmed. Paparazzi captured him looking exhausted, drained, lost. His interviews lacked spark. His poetry felt heavy. His performances seemed weighed down. In a podcast, his voice cracked slightly when he said, "Sometimes two people can love each other deeply and still drift apart. And sometimes, letting go isn't the hardest part." Accepting that timing failed you, that's what hurts. Listeners heard wisdom. Insiders heard heartbreak. Both Jennifer and Common had reached emotional turning points. Jennifer embraced a new chapter built on clarity, strength, and self-respect. She stopped apologizing for wanting peace, stopped shrinking to soothe someone else's insecurity, stopped questioning her worth. Common freely faced himself for the first time. The emotional patterns he once blamed on fate now stared him in the face. His ego was exposed, his insecurities uncovered, his emotional blind spots undeniable. People close to him said he reached a crossroads, evolve, or repeat the same heartbreak over and over again. Whether he chose growth remained unseen. But one thing was painfully obvious: the Jennifer and Common saga wasn't ending. Because something unexpected, something shocking, something neither of them could prepare for, was about to drag both there.